Now let's do a portrait, what I call an environmental portrait, where you have like a bit of a cityscape, in this case the Eiffel Tower, and somebody in the shot. It's a different kind of retouching because, as I explained when I did the studio, it's if you open the shadows and bring down the highlights, sometime on the face you're going to get some weird things. So I like to go a little more gentle, but I'll show you a trick to get around that. So, okay, I'm going to do my black point. I'm going to do my white point. You've seen me do this over and over again. Okay, let's go really crazy on the white point like this. This was actually shot at sunset, so I'm going to go, let's see what daylight is going to give me as a white balance. It's very blue. Let's go to shade, see what shade is going to give me. Now, I think I'm going to stay with daylight. I'm just going to stay with daylight. I'm just going to add a little bit of magenta like I always do. And I want to get more on her face. So I'm going to go, I think I'm going to go 16:9 because it's going to look like a movie. And then I'm going to make it smaller, and let's recrop it so that we are like really onto her a little more so we can see her better. Let's see here. Okay, something like this. I mean, we can guess it's the Eiffel Tower, which is cool. No, that doesn't work. This one's going to be straight. So, okay, here is an issue. I want the Eiffel Tower to be kind of straight, and this is going to be kind of straight. So I'm going to do like this, and I'm going to go to the transform section. Let's see here, transform, and see if we can do better. Let's click on auto, see what's going to happen. Now auto is going to make it weird. Let's see here. Rotate a little bit. I mean, rotate like this. So I want to rotate until the inclination of this and the Eiffel Tower is kind of the same. And then I want to go to vertical to try to bring it back straight, a little bit more straight. Yeah, that's kind of cool. Constraint drop. Okay, no, it's too much. I think the Eiffel Tower looks kind of weird to me now. Yeah, that's kind of okay. All right, so now when, I'm not going to go into like retouching your eyes or everything. One thing I do often is, well, first I want to bring back some of the sunshine that's there. So let's do our little checklist here. Let's do first the sky here. So I'm going to make the top of the sky like a bit darker, not that much. Maybe add a bit of blue. Okay, make it a bit darker. And again, let's use the luminance mask to put this behind the Eiffel Tower and behind the pillow there. So something like that should do it. Okay, and let's make it a bit darker again. So cool. And then here, she's got a nice pen, so I don't want to darken that pen. So I'm just going to darken the corner here and darken the corner there just to make the light a little more interesting. Okay, and then I want to add back some colors from the sunset. There was a bit of sunset I kind of lost in the file. It was a bit red, so I'm going to make a circle here, big circle. I'm going to double click on effect, make sure invert is on. I'm going to add some yellow and some magenta and some exposure. Just a little bit of exposure. And this is too strong, but I did it on purpose because I'm going to use the luminance mask to put it behind that pillow. So, and that's going to make the overall effect go a lot lower. So something like this. Yeah, and then you can just fine tune if it's too strong. Just a little bit of color, just a tad of color like this. Okay, now she's way too dark for me, so I'm going to take a filter, radial filter. Now we've done, the checklist is we do gradient, radial filter, and brush. Okay, I'm going to double click on effect, make sure invert is on, and I'm just going to open the shadows on her and lower the clarity so that her skin is a little more diffuse. Woman like that, maybe add a bit of exposure so she's like more there. Okay, right click, duplicate. And then on this one, I'm going to do the opposite, just a tad to make her the star of the photo. So I'm going to take out invert, double click on effect, and so everything is at 0. And now whatever I'm doing is going to be outside of the mask. So you see, I'm going to overdo it so you can see I'm making everything darker except her. Just a little tad like this. Okay. And a couple of things I want to do to this photo. I think we can add a little more white point to make it a little bit brighter. And maybe a little bit of vibrance. I really wanted this to be a colorful photo. And then let's see here. I want to do something also. I want to try this technique that I showed you in the studio portrait on the sky here, just to make the sky pop a little more. So remember, the way it works is very simple. You just take a brush, you boost the exposure, and in this case, I'm going to brush on the sky here and on the Eiffel Tower on the background. And what I want to do with that is I just want it on the highlight. So I'm going to do a luminance mask. Okay. And I'm going to bring this on the highlight. So the brush is only going to go on the highlight. Check it out. So without it, with it. I can add some more highlights. I can add some more. Yeah, look at that. It just makes the whole sky just pop a little more. And if you want to go crazy, we can do another brush, go the opposite. So add some exposure. Make it darker. And I'm going to make it a little darker here all over the sky. Okay, and then same thing. I'm going to go to the range mask off, luminance. And I'm going to go the opposite this time. I want this to be only on the darkest point. So I'm just adding a bit of darkness to the darkness, a bit of brightness to the brightness. So let me show you without the brush stroke, which is what I just did. Let's see if it's cool. Without it and with it. Just makes a little more drama to the photo. Somehow it kind of took out a little bit. I think the overall photo is a little too dark, so I'm going to make it a little brighter. And maybe just add a tad more vibrance and saturation. And to make it a bit more colorful, I think I'm going to go to split toning to give it a tad of a bit of a Hollywood look, because this is what I'm trying to do, like a little Hollywood thing here. So here we have the split toning. I'm going to go to the shadows and just add a bit of blue in the shadows, just like this, a lot of blue. This is just a little bit of blue, like this. And then the highlights, just a little bit of color in the highlights, just to give it a little style here. And I think I want to add one last circle on her face, like this. Double click on effects so it comes down to 0, invert is on, and just add a little bit more shadows and minus clarity on her face to make her pop even more. Maybe a bit of exposure, just a tad like this. Yes. Okay, so now let's see. I'm going to create a virtual copy, which is because I did some tests before, and if I would just do the before and after, you would see my earlier test. I don't want that. So that's the original photo, and that's here we are. So you can do some cool stuff with portrait in Lightroom.